Hey there, science enthusiasts! Before we dive into the wild world of gases, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support fuels our scientific curiosity. Today, we're embarking on a 15-minute journey, exploring what happens when you stick your head in a box full of different gases. Don't worry, we'll keep it light and breezy, just like the gases we're about to discuss. So, buckle up and remember, no actual heads were harmed in the making of this video. Get ready to gasp at some gases, folks. Ever opened a soda and felt that fizz? That's carbon dioxide for you. This fizzy friend of ours is a colorless, odorless gas that's heavier than air. It's like the invisible Hulk of the gas world, all buffed up and heavier than its counterparts. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, as it's fondly known in the science club, is everywhere. It's in our soda, it's in our beer, and it's even in that fire extinguisher you hopefully never have to use. It's also a vital player in photosynthesis, the process that allows plants to convert sunlight into food. Without CO2, we'd be out of salads, and we all know how tragic that would be. But what happens if you inhale a lot of it? Well, imagine you're a fish and someone just drained your tank. Not a pleasant thought, right? That's because CO2 replaces the oxygen in our lungs, making it harder for us to breathe. If you inhale enough, it could lead to unconsciousness or even worse. Now let's add a humorous twist. Picture a balloon. When you fill it up with air, it's all fun and games until someone pops it. But if you fill that balloon with CO2, it won't just pop, it'll drop. That's because CO2 is denser than air. So, next time you're at a party and you see a balloon sinking to the ground, you'll know it's had a bit too much carbon dioxide. So, what about sticking your head in a box full of CO2? Well, unless you're a soda bottle, it's not a smart move. You'd quickly find yourself gasping for air, and not in a good way. It's like being at the bottom of a swimming pool, but without the cool underwater view. In conclusion, CO2 is a fascinating, versatile gas that's essential for life on Earth, but like most things, it's best in moderation. So, sticking your head in a box full of CO2? Not the brightest idea unless you're a soda bottle. Next up is hydrogen sulfide, the star ingredient in rotten eggs. Now before you go cracking up, let's delve into what this gas is all about. Hydrogen sulfide, with its chemical symbol H2S, is a colorless gas known for its distinctive and, let's be honest, less than pleasant smell. This extraordinary gas is naturally found in many places, from volcanic gases and natural gas to, yes, rotten eggs. It's also produced by certain types of bacteria in the human and animal gut. So, your dog might not just be guilty of stealing your shoes, but also of contributing to the world's hydrogen sulfide production. But what happens if we get a good whiff of hydrogen sulfide? Well, in small amounts it can cause some serious nose wrinkling and gagging. But in high concentrations, it's a whole different story. Hydrogen sulfide is actually toxic. It can cause headaches, confusion, and even loss of consciousness. Not exactly the kind of party you'd want to join. And, if you're thinking about using it for some prank, here's a fun fact. Our sense of smell quickly becomes fatigued and we stop detecting the odor. So, your prank might backfire and leave you smelling like yesterday's scrambled eggs. Now imagine putting your head in a box full of hydrogen sulfide. It's like diving headfirst into a mountain of rotten eggs. And with a high concentration of hydrogen sulfide, you might just pass out before you even get to appreciate the fragrance. So, unless you're planning to audition for the role of a zombie in a horror flick, it's best to steer clear of this stinky gas. So, a box full of hydrogen sulfide? Only if you fancy smelling like a week-old omelet? Arsine and arsenic pentafluoride, now those are the bad boys of the gas world. Let's dive right in and meet our first rogue, arsine. A gas with a slightly garlicky smell, and no, that doesn't mean you can use it to spice up your pasta. Arsine is a colorless, flammable, and, you guessed it, highly toxic gas. It's used in the semiconductor industry, but let's just say it's not something you'd want to inhale. In fact, even a small amount can cause headaches, dizziness, or even hemolysis where your red blood cells burst. Yes, you heard that right, they burst. Sounds like a party you definitely don't want an invite to. Now let's meet the second bad boy, arsenic pentafluoride. This one sounds like it should be in a comic book, right? But trust me, it's no superhero, it's a colorless gas that reacts with just about everything, especially water. And guess what's a major component of the human body? Water. So, if you're thinking about a dip in a pool of arsenic pentafluoride, think again. This gas can cause severe burns, lung damage, and even death. It's almost as if it's auditioning for the role of a villain in a horror movie. So, what happens if you stick your head in a box full of these gases? Well, aside from the immediate regret, you'd probably experience a range of unpleasant symptoms from dizziness to severe respiratory distress. And remember, this isn't a cartoon where you'll walk away with just a charred face and a funny hairdo. This is real life, and these gases are seriously dangerous. But hey, don't let that dampen your curiosity about the world of science. Just remember, there's a difference between being curious and being reckless. So let's leave the dangerous stunts to the professionals, shall we? So, a box full of arsine or arsenic pentafluoride, only if you're auditioning for a horror movie. Fluorine and ammonia, the gas version of an odd couple. Picture this. Fluorine, the most electronegative element on the periodic table, and ammonia, a humble compound with one nitrogen atom and 3 hydrogens. They're as different as chalk and cheese, but together, oh boy, they're a riot. Fluorine is the lone wolf, the rebel. It's the strongest oxidizing agent out there, always ready to snatch an electron from any unsuspecting element. It's so reactive it can even persuade noble gases to share their electrons. Talk about persuasive skills. On the other hand, we have ammonia, the good guy, always ready to donate its lone pair of electrons. It's a base, a giver, the guy everyone can rely on. But don't be fooled by its generosity. Inhaling ammonia can irritate your eyes, throat, and lungs, cause coughing and shortness of breath. Imagine inviting a seemingly nice guest to your party, only to have them start a coughing frenzy. Now let's put these two in a room together, or rather, in a box. When combined, they form nitrogen trifluoride, a colorless, odorless, non-flammable gas. Sounds harmless, right? Not quite. It's a potent greenhouse gas over 17,000 times more effective at warming the earth than carbon dioxide. It's like that party guest who not only starts a coughing fit, but also cranks up the heat to unbearable levels. But what if you were to put your head in a box full of these gases? Well, it's safe to say your lungs wouldn't be sending you a thank you card. Fluorine would cause severe respiratory irritation, while ammonia would have your eyes watering faster than watching a tearjerker movie. So remember, chemistry is full of odd couples, and while they can create fascinating reactions, it doesn't mean they're good for a close encounter. So, a box full of fluorine or ammonia? Not unless you're planning a surprise party for your lungs. And finally, pure oxygen. It's not just for breathing, folks. Let's dive into the world of O2, the elixir of life, the breath of existence, You get the idea. Oxygen is a vital part of life as we know it, playing a key role in everything from cellular respiration to combustion. But what if you took a deep breath in a box full of pure oxygen? Would it be like a superhero origin story, or more like a bloopers reel? You see, oxygen makes up about 21% of the air we breathe, with the rest mostly nitrogen. In this mix, oxygen is just right, like the porridge in Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold, but if you ramp up the oxygen concentration to 100%, things get a little, shall we say, intense. In the short term, breathing pure oxygen can cause some pretty gnarly side effects. We're talking coughing, chest pain, and even trouble breathing. Ironic, isn't it? It's like winning an all-you-can-eat buffet and then getting a stomachache, but the real kicker is what happens if you keep it up. Extended exposure to pure oxygen can lead to lung damage and retinal detachment. Yes, you heard that right. Your lungs could shrivel up like raisins and your retinas might decide they've had enough and start packing their bags. And I don't know about you, but I'm rather fond of my lungs and eyes just where they are, thank you very much. So as much as we love oxygen for keeping us alive and for making things go boom in science class, too much of a good thing can definitely be bad. I mean, who knew that the thing we breathe every second of every day could be a double-edged sword? It's like finding out your favorite teddy bear is actually a grizzly in disguise. So a box full of pure oxygen might sound like a breath of fresh air, but it's not as pleasant as you think. Let's just stick to breathing regular air, shall we? Oxygen, you're great, but sometimes you can be a real gas. Well, there you have it. The gas chamber experiment you never knew you needed. We've taken a whirlwind tour through the intriguing, the dangerous, and the downright bizarre world of gases. Let's recap our gaseous journey, shall we? We started with carbon dioxide, the life source for plants but a real party pooper for us humans. Remember, no oxygen, no party. It's like being the only one awake at a sleepover. Then we dove into hydrogen sulfide, which, if you recall, had us pinching our noses. It's the equivalent of being stuck in an elevator with someone who's just eaten a bean burrito. Not a pleasant experience, my friends. Next, we tackled the double whammy of arsine and arsenic pentafluoride. Arsine, the gas that's sneakier than your cat when it's up to no good, and arsenic pentafluoride, the gas that throws a tantrum when it comes into contact with water. It's like a toddler throwing their toys out of the pram. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Speaking of tantrums, let's not forget our encounter with fluorine and ammonia. Fluorine, the loner of the periodic table, and ammonia, the gas that's always ready to pick a fight. It's like the schoolyard bully who just can't play nice with others. And last but not least, we met pure oxygen. Sounds like a breath of fresh air, right? Wrong. Too much of a good thing can be bad, and pure oxygen is no exception. It's like eating too much cake. It's all fun and games until you get a stomachache. So what have we learned? Besides the fact that gases can be as complex and unpredictable as a season finale of your favorite show? Well, we've discovered that gases, like people, have their quirks, their strengths and their weaknesses. They can be helpful or harmful, friendly or hostile. But no matter what, they're always fascinating. Remember, don't try this at home, kids. Leave the gas experiments to us and keep your heads in the open air. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.